Hey guys, so you ready for today's July 14, 2018, almost 3 a.m. Central Time. Yet another assault weapons ban bill exists. And it came out just a little while ago, actually. And I had done a video on every single assault weapons ban that has come out in this Congress, which are 3 prior to this current one. However, the current one, which is why I'm going over it, other than to say, hey, gun control is alive and well in Congress still by the Democrats. In fact, I just did a video for my Patreon account. Last time the Senate was in, which was the 12th, someone came down to the Senate floor, Senator Cardin, to talk about gun control. So it is not a dead topic by any means. But this most recent bill is very disturbing in something that it would create. Because if you had a liberal ATF, a liberal White House, a liberal Congress, whatever the fuck, they could essentially classify every single firearm in this country, regardless of whether it has the features in which they consider to be, quote, assault weapons. Whether they are able to take them, have them, whatever, they could reclassify, example, a Glock 19 as an assault weapon under this bullshit she created. This is a way to ban all firearms and destroy the Second Amendment. That was what I thought was very creative. I'm going to show it to you. So this is the most recent one, HR 6297. All my videos on everything obviously got deleted, so I'd have to look back at the other ones to see exactly what were so cool about those. But this is Assault Weapons Ban and Regulatory Reform Act of 2018. This came out by someone I cannot stand, Frederica Wilson. She's a Democrat from Florida. Came out June 28th, 2018, went to the House Judiciary, has 0 co-sponsors. However, HR 5087, I'm going to go back through the other ones, not going to describe them, just telling you they exist. Assault Weapons Ban of 2018 by David from Rhode Island. House Judiciary Committee moved in March, didn't go anywhere, to a subcommittee, has 176 co-sponsors. This is what's stupid and kind of interesting. HR 5077, Assault Weapons Ban of 2018. It is a House bill, obviously. Went to the Judiciary Committee March 20th. It was referred to the subcommittee. Out by the same person, Frederica Wilson. So I scanned between the two bills, the most recent and this one. And what I'm talking about is not in this version. In fact, this version's rather common. There aren't too many things in it that would raise an eyebrow. And then this one, S2095 by Crypt Keeper Dianne Feinstein, Democrat from California, went to the Senate Judiciary Committee. Now, I want to say this for a second. And that one has 31 co-sponsors. Is basically all the gun control bills for the Senate, practically. Anything that came out prior to March 14, 2018. The latest action on it, more likely than not, because there's, oh my God, there's dozens and dozens, probably in the hundreds, of gun control bills out there. And all of them, again, if they were introduced prior to March 14, 2018, the latest action, more likely than not, will say Senate 314, 2018, Committee on Judiciary hearings held. That particular day, I had recorded and uploaded portions of it to my Patreon account, like I usually do with footage of committees and such, so go ahead and check that out if you so choose. All those videos were deleted too, so I'd have to re-upload them. Anyway, they had that Parkland school shooting hearing, if you even want to call it a hearing, that particular day. So what they did in the Senate is they took all the gun control bills that had anything to do with NICS, firearms specifically, anything, and recategorized it to say latest action, March 14, 2018, hearings held. So nothing has really happened. There's no true hearings, markups, or anything of that nature. Now, HR 2697, the Assault Weapons Ban and Regulatory Reform Act of 2018, Section 9 is what I'm talking about. She goes into the normal stuff, banning very specific assault weapons. Okay, they're obviously not called assault weapons. They're called semi-automatic rifles. But of course, Congress and people have come up with that term. But anyway, assault weapon is actually an automatic. But regardless, she explains all the terms. She goes into banning large capacity ammunition feeding devices, which are extended magazines. She does a buyback program in here for extended magazines. She wants to have, she says, exempt models of rifles. She wants to do stamping for the date. So if there's an assault weapon that has been manufactured in this country after the date of enactment of this act, then I know I read so much legislation, I actually sound like I'm a fucking bill. But anyway, there's supposed to be a date stamped on the firearm and in a magazine that would be banned, in which it was manufactured, so they could figure out what's not a grandfathered situation. She put in grandfather crap in here about transfers, about ownership, all kinds of shit, so you can see all that trash. This one I don't care for. This was in Fix Nix. I don't think it was actually the portion that passed, though. It was Section 107, notification of law enforcement agencies of prohibited purchase or attempted purchase of a grandfathered semi-automatic assault weapon. I don't like the concept of law enforcement agencies being notified when someone comes back violating G or N of Section 922.18, which is has to do with mental health adjudications and shit like that. Because you could actually, it could be a false positive. So if that's the case, and they notify the FBI, local law enforcement agency, and state law enforcement agency, they're all gonna just have, you're gonna have a big red fucking mark, scarlet letter on you forever until that shit gets fixed. And all those agencies all talk to themselves, because you know how, people talk to themselves correctly, it's going to be just a disaster. So I think that that's ridiculous. But that's come up several times. But Section 9, this is not only illogical. If you had a liberal ATF director, essentially he could literally ban every firearm in this country, from a Glock 19 to, I don't know, just anything. It doesn't even matter. The only thing I could think of that they wouldn't ban or couldn't ban from this would be like a 22, because the lethality of a 22 is pretty low. You'd have to really shoot someone to death with it. It says, in general, within 1 year after the date of enactment of this act, the director of the ATF, in this section referred to as director, shall, 1, listen to this, develop a framework for evaluating and classifying each firearm offered for sale in the U.S. based on the ability of the firearm to be used to injure or kill, which shall include a method for assigning to each firearm a score based on lethality of the firearm as determined by the director. And 2, shall classify as an assault weapon any firearm with a lethality score that is greater than such number as the director shall establish. How ridiculous. Then they want him to do reports to fucking Congress every 90 days. That's ridiculous, because not only can you look at a firearm, we'll say a Glock 19, okay? If you look at the type of ammunition it takes, there are different types. Full metal jackets. There's also, not for a Glock 19, but for like an AR-15. They have M855, what they call, the government calls armor-piercing ammunition, okay? Which means it can go through a certain layer of armor. I think it's the third, number 3 or something, stage of armor. But anyway, so if you take ammunition into consideration, that would make the firearm more lethal than perhaps other ammunition it would take. That's, I don't know how else to explain it if you don't understand that. without going into like every little bit of ammunition out there. But beside the point, if you take that into consideration, you're not just taking in the firearm, but then you're taking in what it can take and what is out there and what could be out there in the future. I mean, it's just fucking stupid. To come up with some lethality number is ridiculous. We'd end up with a bunch of 22s. That's pretty much the only thing that would be left, because you got to pretty much blow quite a few, 22s into somebody in the right places for it to do some serious, like, death, okay, lethality. Might injure someone, but you'd have to really blow some holes in someone with a 22. So, but I mean, they could reclassify shotguns as assault weapons. So, I mean, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. But it is a very creative concept. So never put anything past liberals. This is Are You Ready For It? Take care, guys. Have a great morning.